session, we're going to be solving multi-step equations. There's 4 steps we need to make sure we do when we're solving multi-step equations. The first step is to distribute and combine like terms. To isolate variables, get on one side, so that means get all the variables on one side. List what's being done, so that's your do section, and then undo using inverse, your unwrapping, that's your undo section. So my first problem is 7 times 9 plus k equals 84. I have distribution that needs to be done, so I'm going to take this 7 times 9, which gives me 63, 7 times k plus 7k, and I just bring down my equals 84. Now, because all of my k's are on one side, I can't combine anything else, I'm going to go ahead and write out my do and my undo side. What's being done? We're looking at this right here. There's no parentheses or grouping symbols. There's no exponents. Next one is multiplication, and I do have multiplication right here. I have multiplied by 7. Then I'm looking for addition or subtraction, which is the 63. I look directly in front of that 63. There's nothing there, so that tells me it's a positive. So I'm going to put plus 63. And now I have to undo. The inverse operation of plus 63 is minus 63. The inverse operation of times 7 is divided by 7. So now I can solve my problem just by going. Remember, the do is going down, and then to undo, I go back up. So I draw my wall because it's important. You always have to draw your wall. That reminds you that what you do on one side, you must do on another. So the first thing my undo tells me to do is subtract 63. I'm going to put that directly underneath the 63 so I can keep everything organized. 63 minus 63 is 0, so I can just cancel that out. I bring down my 7k equals 84 minus 63 is 21. So I have this done right there, that first undo step. Now, all I have to do is go to the second step, which is divide by 7. So bring down my wall, divide both sides by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1, so I'm just going to cross that out because remember we don't put 1 in front of the variable. K equals 21 divided by 7 is 3. There's my answer. In order to check it, I'm going to have 7 times 9 plus 3 equals 84. 7 times 12 equals 84. So remember, 7 times 12 is 84. So 84 equals 84. It checks out. I would go ahead and pause this video, or excuse me, pause the video at this point so you can try this problem on your own, and then you can bring it back up and see if you got it right. So go ahead and pause the video right now. Okay, so now that you have tried that problem on your own, let's look at this. First thing we need to do is we need to distribute anything we have. So I'm going to go ahead and write down my negative 243 equals, because I'm not doing anything to that side, so I can just rewrite it. I have negative 9 times 10, which is negative 90. And I have negative 9 times x, which is negative 9x. Now I can do my do and my undo, because I have nothing else I can combine like terms. My x is all on one side. So what I'm going to do here is look to see I have no parentheses or grouping symbols. I have no exponents, so I'm looking for multiplication or division. I'm multiplying by negative 9. And then it's subtracting by 90. Now I need to do my undo. So remember, I went down for my do, I'm going to go up for my undo. Inverse operation of minus 90 is plus 90. Inverse operation of multiply by negative 9 is divide by negative 9. So now that's all I have to do on the left side of my equation. Remember, I draw my wall because that's extremely important. It helps us remember that what we do on one side, we have to do on the other to balance it out. First thing I'm going to do is add 90 to both sides. Negative 90 plus 90 is 0, so I cross it out, bring down my negative 9x. Negative 243 plus 90 is negative negative 153. So that's done. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 9. Negative 9 divided by negative 9 is 1, so I can just cross that out. Negative 153 divided by negative 9 is 17. I can always go back there and check that. Negative 243 equals negative 9 times 10 plus 17. Negative 243 equals negative 9 times 27. Negative 243 equals negative 243. So that's check. So this one's a little bit different. We don't have distributing, but if you notice, we do have combining like terms because I have r plus 11 plus 8r equals 29. So there's no distributing, but there's combining like terms, which I have to do before I can solve the equation. So the first thing I need to do when I talked about combining like terms is there's an r, so I'm going to put a triangle around that, and I look to see if there's any other r's on that side of the equal sign, which there is, a plus 8. Then I have a constant. I'm going to circle my plus 11. I'm combining my triangles, so I have r plus 8r, r plus 8r, which is 9r. Bring down my plus 11 equals 29. Of course, now I have all my r's together on one side, so I can go ahead and do the do and undo. What's the first thing being done? There's no grouping symbols, there's no exponents, but there is multiplication, 9r. So I'm multiplying by 9, adding 11. When I go to undo, I'm inverse operation of plus 11, this is minus 11. Inverse operation of times 9, divide by 9. I have my wall. First thing I do is minus 11. Whatever I do one side, I have to do to the other. So I have 9r equals 18. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 9. R equals 2. Of course, if I plug that in, I have 2 plus 11 plus 8 times 2 equals 29. 2 plus 11 plus 16 equals 29. 13 plus 16 equals 29. 29 equals 29. Now we're going to look at this next problem. I would suggest you go ahead and pause the video, work this problem out, and then unpause so you can compare your answer to what I got. Now that you've done that on your own, first thing I'm going to do is box in my 6r, looking through another 6r, so I'll box that in, and then my constant is negative 1. Combine my two boxed in things, 6r plus 6r is 12r. Bring down my minus 1 equals 11, and that is an r. So now I can do my do and undo. There's no grouping symbols or exponents, so the very first thing is multiply by 12 and then subtract 1. When I do my undo, I have to do the inverse operation of those. So inverse operation of minus 1 is plus 1. Inverse operation of multiply by 12 is divide by 12. I draw my wall, add 1, bring down my 12r, negative 1 plus 1 is 0, 11 plus 1 is 12, and I'm going to divide both sides by 12. R equals 1. Now, if I want to check this, 6 times 1 minus 1 plus 6 times 1 equals 11. 6 times 1 is 6, minus 1 plus 6 times 1 is 6 equals 11. 5 plus 6 equals 11. 11 equals 11. All right, these two is where it gets a little bit trickier. Let me move this problem down a little bit so we have more room. Now we're going to have distributing and combining like terms. So the very first thing I'm going to look at, I have parentheses. I know I'm going to have to distribute. So I'm just going to Go ahead and draw a wall. I'm going to bring down everything to the right of the equal sign because I'm not doing anything with it at this time. So negative 6x minus 20. Over here I'm distributing, so negative 8 times negative 8 is 64x. Negative 8 times negative 6 is 48. I have to combine like terms. There's nothing I can combine on the left side of the equal sign. There's nothing I can combine on the right side. But remember, I have to get that variable all on one side. I can't have my x's on both sides of the equal sign. So I'm going to move my 6x over to the other side. And I'm going to do the inverse operation. So I'm going to add 6x to both sides. That would give me 70x plus 48 equals negative 22. And now I'm able to do my do and undo. I have multiply by 70, add 48. My inverse operation of addition is subtraction, subtract 48, and then divide by 70. First thing I'm going to do is subtract 48 from both sides. Bring down my 70x. 48 minus 48 is 0. Negative 22 minus 48 is going to be negative 70. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 70. X is going to equal negative 1. I can check this, and I'd have negative 8 times negative 8 times negative 1 minus 6 equals negative 6 times negative 1 minus 22. So I'd have negative 8 times 8 minus 6 equals 6 minus 22. Negative 8 times 2 equals 6 minus 22. Negative 16 equals negative 16. We have one more problem we're going to do, so I would go ahead again, pause the video and go back, work out the problem by yourself, and then come back to it to see if compare answers is correct. I have distribute, so I'm going to just bring down my negative 11 minus 5a because I'm not doing anything to that side. 6 times 5 is 30a. 6 times 4 is 24. I need to get this 5a to the right. You can move the 38 to the left if you want. I'm going to add 5a to both sides. Bring down my negative 11 equals 35a plus 24. And now I can do my do and undo because I have all my variables on one side. Multiply by 35. And then I have add 24. Undo, the inverse of addition is subtraction, subtract 24, and then divide by 35. On my wall, I'm going to subtract each side by 24. Bring down my 35a. Negative 11 minus 24 is negative 35. I wrote 25, negative 35. So that one's done. Then I have to divide both sides by 35. Negative 1 equals a. And again, if I want to check this, I can have negative 11 minus 5 times negative 1 equals 6 times 5 times negative 1 plus 4. Negative 11 plus 5 equals 6 times negative 5 plus 4. Negative 6 equals 6 times negative 1. Negative 6 equals negative 6. And there's how you solve multi-step functions. Hope this helped.